And welcome to Newsmax Television. I'm Steve Malsberg, and I'm joined right now by the one and only Dr. Ben Carson. Doctor, so good to see you, sir.
Well, nice to be here. Thank you.
We've talked many times over the phone, but this is great to see you in person. You're here at Restoration Weekend, and you're going to do what you, one of the things you do best, and that's give a very energetic speech that's going to, I'm sure, rouse a lot of people up and inspire a lot of people. How are you finding everywhere you go, you're loved?
It's been quite amazing as we travel across the country. Red states, blue states, north, south, east, west. Tremendous responses from people. It's like they're saying, I didn't know there was somebody else who thought the way I did. I thought I was the only weird one. That's why I keep quiet and hide under my rock.
Now, I mean, do you find that a lot from minorities? Because, I mean, I'm sure, you know, Caucasians know there's
Right.
a lot like them, but I talk to so many people, African Americans on the right,
Right.
and they all have the same story, you know, why do 99% of the people love Obama and blah, blah, blah. But when you allude to that, are you alluding to African
Oh,
Americans?
yeah. I'd say tons of African Americans and Hispanics also who aren't necessarily ready to go out and proclaim publicly that they think with common sense, but secretly, absolutely.
And why do you think that is? And
Because they don't want to be ostracized.
But
you know?
why doesn't the Republican Party, am I right in assuming, and I'm not making a blanket statement, I
Sure.
never would about anybody, but blacks and Hispanics share the values of the Republican and conservative movements when it
Much
comes
more
to
so.
family values and religion and morals and their kids' education. So why the disconnect?
Well, it's quite intentional. There are groups of people who like to create divisions because dividing and conquering is one of Saul Alinsky's tactics. And so you try to make people feel that they can't possibly get by without you because you are their protector and their provider. And because of things that have happened historically, some people find that comforting.
And I would assume, because you said Saul Alinsky, that you're counting among those that you are alluding to as President Obama.
He certainly seems to be quite a student of that individual.
Let's talk about what's going on with the Affordable Care Act, the chaos that has ensued. When you watched the president the other day, first the exposing of the lie,
Right.
and his trying to talk his way out of it, and now the fix. Take us through that and tell me what you would think of this performance, if you will.
Well, I actually feel sorry for him because, you know, he wanted so badly to be successful and to be loved and to be a hero who has brought wonderful things to the downtrodden. And, you know, many people, quite frankly, who end up perhaps not looking so good in history, started out with very lofty goals, or at least in their mind they were lofty goals. What happens is a metamorphosis occurs where you begin believing that your way is the only right way. There is no other way that really works, and if anybody doesn't believe that, it's only because they don't fully understand. And therefore, you can't really wait until they understand. You have to impose upon them. And, you know, that's what I saw. It's very difficult for people who are ideologues to accept that their ideology is wrong.
When you see the fix that the president proposed, and now he met with the insurance companies today, and now they say that the government's going to have to reimburse them $11 billion. I mean, it shows, again, to me, let me ask you, does it show incompetence that the man's never run a business? How do you tell insurance companies all along, you have to do this, you have to cancel, then one day you say, oh, you could take them back, but if you take them back, you got to give them a letter, it's got to say this, it's got to say that. You know the bureaucracy involved with that? How is it even possible? You know the business, obviously,
Sure.
as a neurosurgeon. How is his fix even workable?
Well, I suspect, I don't blame him so much for not knowing anything about business. I blame him for not surrounding himself with people who do. You know, you can't be an expert in every area, but you have to know what you don't know in order to be an effective leader. And, you know, to come out with the kind of statements that he made, you know, indicates that no one around him is counseling him about the very basic things about business. You know, You have plans that go out for years, let alone months, and trying to turn something around in weeks. Are you kidding me? It's unbelievable.
The House passed a bill today with 39 Democrats voting with the Republicans that would take it a step further. It would give insurance companies, it would demand that they reinstate those policies, not give them the option, and it would also allow them to keep selling policies for another year that don't comply with the regulations and the requirements and coverage of Obamacare. The 39 Democrats, I think, send a message. How do you look at that, and what is it saying to Obama and to the supporters of the Affordable Care Act? Can this ever work?
I think it's saying that we're still all just playing politics. The fact of the matter is, delaying it a year, it's not going to change anything. You're still going to have to go through all this mess again. So, when I was a kid and if I was to get a spanking, I'd rather just have the spanking there. I don't want to be sitting there think about it for the next, several days. So, we really need to be thinking about how do we actually solve this problem? And we know how not to solve it, but there are lots of ideals. For people to say that there are no ideals out there and that this is the only way to go, that is blatantly untrue. What we really need to do is approach this with an open mind. Look at what our goals are. Our goals are to return health care, to the practitioner and to the patient, and not have a third party making medical decisions for people. And finding an appropriate way to pay for it. That's what we want to do.
How would, let's say, a President Carson go about doing that?
Well, first of all, I would stop duplicating things, which means I would give everybody an electronic medical record, which can be embedded in your driver's license, a credit card, a ring on your finger. There are lots of ways to do it. I would not have it sitting on a computer somewhere where
With
it can
convicted
be stolen.
felons, yeah. That's insane.
Okay. And then I would give everybody a health savings account. Every single American, all 315 million, I would give a health savings account with $2,000 in it every year. And
The government would put that in?
the government would put that in. That would cost the government $630 billion. Sounds like a lot of money. It's not much compared to what we're
It's
spending.
what they spent on the website.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a third of it would have to be used for catastrophic health care. But the other part, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, most people don't spend anywhere near that
Right, sure.
per year. And it doesn't disappear like in a flexible savings account. It continues to accumulate. Additionally, you can add to it anything you want. That's just the basics, so that you can take care of basic needs for everybody. I think that's the humanitarian thing to do. I would also give people the ability to shift money in their HSAs between family members. That way, every family becomes its own insurance
Right, if someone
company.
gets sick, you can move it to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's no middleman in between. Also, because you're taking care of all your routine stuff, including your birth control pills and all that, through your own HSA, now depending on somebody else to do it, the cost of your catastrophic insurance drops dramatically. And it's really used for what it should be used for, major medical incidents. People learn how to shop because now they're responsible.
Right.
It brings the whole medical system into the free market. That's what controls costs. Government doesn't control costs. That's what creates innovation. We have, progressively taken things out of the free market and placed them in government where they're inefficient, where they traditionally have been inefficient, where they will always be inefficient, because that's not what the government is for.
Summing up here, when will you decide whether or not you're running for president? I've asked you that over the months. Many people have asked you that. Are you close to a decision? Are you leaning one way?
Well,
have you talked to anybody, any sitting senators perhaps, or party leaders?
I've talked to lots of people, but the way I look at it, right now, the most important thing is to continue going around the country and waking people up and letting them know that they do have power and that they don't have to sit down and take this. We got to bring courage and bravery back. Stop letting them beat you down.
Agreed, but you didn't give me an answer. Is there a time? Do you have a timetable in mind?
I think 3 years ahead of time is way too early.
Okay, and one final, back to where we started from in the interview. If you did, you know what you'll be up against. I mean, you
Yes.
know what the media, they're doing it to you now. They've
Sure.
been doing it to you. They do it to all black conservatives,
Sure.
male or female, Hispanics. Marco Rubio took the drink.
Right.
He's an idiot because he took a drink.
Right.
Are you prepared for that?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I thought it would, and it probably would if it were coming from a source that I respected. But, you know, most of the people who level these silly charges do it out of spite and hatred, and they have nothing to back it up with. And it's been having the Chick-fil-A effect. So
now
don't
you get
worry
me
about
hungry,
it.
yeah. Doctor, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Great to see you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for watching Newsmax Television. I'm Steve Malzberg.